as an individual with an extraordinarily high IQ, I have very good pattern recognition. And it's time to talk about the pattern when it comes to Nintendo films. Because those of you who are around in like the 2022, 2023 period, like when we started talking about the Mario movie, you saw all these really weird allegations about it. You know, you saw how people spurred out about the cast, complained about Charles Martinet not being in it, you know, made all these weird, superfluous claims. And one of the really weird ones that people completely forgot about is this idea that the movie was woke because of like Princess Peach's characterization. Now, anybody who knows anything about the character knows she's been playable since Super Mario Bros. 2. She's perfectly capable. You know, she's been portrayed in a wide range of different ways over the years. You know, this idea that like, ooh, she's only ever been a damsel in distress is just like, it's a pop culture meme that never really had any basis in reality. You know, like it's always been pretty self-evident to everyone that Peach is, you know, a character with a lot of versatility, with her own powers and skill sets, and, you know, is able to carry her own game, you know, as she's starred in a couple, right? Like, that... Anybody who actually knows Super Mario Bros. Didn't really have an issue with the Princess Peach thing. But, like, one of the big copes about the movie when it first came out was that from plebs, you know, people like Angry Joe and stuff like that, was, like, acting like the movie was woke, that Princess Peach could have, like, carried the entire film, that she was, like, a girl boss, that she could have, like, done everything Mario did, but better, which was just a complete farce. Because, like, first of all, like, none of that actually happened, you know? Like, Mario's a perfectly likable character, and Peach is a likable character. Like, the movie's good, you know? So, like, these guys are, like, creating this weird alternate fan fiction reality where Princess Peach is, like, a girl boss because, like, oh, she could have beaten Donkey Kong, and she could have led the Cogs to beat Bowser, and she could have beaten him herself. And, like, that just doesn't happen, you know? That's not how the movie plays out at all. And anybody who actually went to see that understands that. It's just, it was very obvious to me, you know, like during that build-up period, even watching the trailers, that this was a very forced narrative coming from people who were like desperately trying to downplay the movie by any means imaginable, you know, like after the movie came out, people tried saying the Barbie movie was better and stuff like that. Yeah. Like, you know, people have like spent like years trying to downplay this thing's success, you know. The Mario movie was really good. Not woke at all. If anything, like, I think is a testament to anti-woke filmmaking, actually. There's no woke content in that film at all. So, like, imagine my surprise then when going into the Zelda movie's release, we start seeing the same kind of narrative. You know, there's no official statement from Nintendo. We don't have any trailers or any idea what the movie's going to be like other than a release date in March 27, 2027, right? We have some vague idea of, like, some details about the film and who's working on it. Nothing about the cast, though. And so, like, over the past couple of days, there was this rumor that Nintendo was going to hire a tranny to play Zelda. And of course, like, you know, you have people concerned trolling about this, like, oh man, I'm not going to go see it. Like, you had like anti-wokesters like complaining about it, and it's just not going to happen. You know, that is 100% not going to happen. You know, I'm calling it now. It's just a complete and total farce, but like, it's serving its purpose, you know? Like, it's not Nintendo releasing these claims. Like, it's coming from an unreliable source that was not vetted, that seems to have been, like, tied to, like, the man in question who is trying to promote himself by trying to latch himself onto the Zelda movie. And it's a really good example of just how easily manipulated the anti-woke community is. So instead of like actually complaining about things that are actually getting made and like actual decisions in regards to these properties, they're just going to like jump the gun at like a rumor that's so out of left field that like nobody who's in the know would ever take it seriously, especially after what happened with the Mario movie, how the same people were spurging out about Girl Boss Peach, you know? Like, I looked at this like Zelda rumor and like I didn't even comment on it because I knew it was false to begin with. And that's a testament, I think, to just the reality of the situation now. Like, I think a major cornerstone when it comes to like downplaying Nintendo right now is pretending as if the company has somehow been compromised and is somehow putting out like woke propaganda for the masses, which is not only true, which is not only not true, it's also the exact opposite. You know, games like Xenoblade Chronicles 3 are some of the most red-pilled games ever made. You know, this idea that Nintendo has regressed, or that they're censoring third-party games, or that they're this super woke company that's dictated by like retards in Seattle and California, that's not true at all. You know, as anyone who's familiar with the company will tell you. But like, it's been a reoccurring narrative for years. You know, I've seen Grums push the idea. I've seen like all sorts of like prominent figures in the anti-woke community promote this idea that like Nintendo's not only compromised, it's one of the most woke companies in the industry. You know, this whole censorship debacle, you know, primarily was a Nintendo thing back in the day. Like what you see now with people like complaining about like, you know, Steam covering up like the back of female characters and stuff like that. You know, back in the day, that kind of discourse was reserved exclusively for Nintendo properties, right? The narrative was that Nintendo censors games for their little child audience, and it was never true. But like, they really went all out on that narrative at the time. You know, Tokyo Mirage Sessions got hit with that really, really badly when it first came out. You know, the narrative over the years has like shifted a lot. You know, people claim that like all Japanese companies are compromised now, which you know, to this day is not true. But we're still in this position where like, are we really going to keep freaking out over like these stupid unconfirmed rumors? You know, are we really going to make ourselves look like complete and utter retards? Like every time one of these like stupid like rumor surfaces, are we really going to do like podcasts about it? Are we really going to make YouTube videos seething about trannies? Are we really going to make web comics about it? Like, it's not a real thing. So like, why care? You know, yeah, I wouldn't like it either if it was true. But you know what I would do? I would just not go see the movie. You know, I would be vocal about it, but I just wouldn't see the movie and it would fail, you know. And that's why it's not going to happen. Like, it would fail pretty hardcore. And like, Nintendo knows that, you know, like the woke thing, it's not becoming mainstream. It's not becoming more popular. If anything, I think people are pushing back against it more and more. You know, more and more people are beginning to realize that, like, you know, gays, lesbians, bisexual, especially bisexual women, and trannies are just completely degenerate human beings that deserve no respect whatsoever. You know, and yeah, Nintendo putting themselves in the crossfire like that is not a part of their business model. They are not suddenly going to like cave to like Hollywood because they told them to. Like, they hold all the cards when it comes to like producing this movie. You know, they have complete control over it. So like, this idea that it's going to have some kind of like crazy woke undertones to it, like, I don't think it's going to happen, honestly. Like, honestly, like, we're beginning to see that like become the case in like, you know, normal Hollywood movies. Like, the woke thing, I think, is on the way out. And it's like, we're seeing like this weird shift to like, you know, more conservative, like pro-Israeli, like kind of talk. Like, this is the thing about the anti-woke community, is that like the woke stuff is over, but they're not really like addressing like how the cultural shift is also going to be a bad thing, right? Like, right now, like, the establishment wants to preserve the status quo. They want to keep things as they are, you know, as we go through like the war period, and then they're going to like just kick things back into high gear, like, once all that's over and done with and people have gotten settled. It's not going to work, I think it's safe to say, but like, that's the idea of what they're trying to do. I'm going into this like with no concerns about this movie at all. Like, at this stage, I'm expecting it to be great, considering like the Mario movie and how well that did, and like how much I liked it. But like, yeah, like, I think the general gaming community really doesn't like the fact that the the narrative that Nintendo games aren't mainstream is over. Because that's always been the cope, is that like, well, Nintendo, they're only relevant on their consoles, which is a niche thing, and like, meanwhile, they're dominating in. They're the market leader in gaming now. They have one Hollywood movie. They have one of the most successful movies ever made now. They're going to put out another one. Zelda, I think, is safe to say at this stage that it is going to be bigger than Lord of the Rings. That's something that people tend to like sneer at me about. But like Zelda constantly gets new content, while like Tolkien is like very limited by like the original material. Like Zelda is going to surpass it at some point. And it's only a matter of when and how it's going to happen. It might happen with this film, to be completely honest with you. And I think a lot of people aren't really prepared for Zelda to be like the biggest fantasy property on the planet. But bigger than Harry Potter, bigger than Tolkien. Like, people are not prepared for that inevitability. Like, the decades they've spent, like, downplaying these films, doing everything they possibly can to, like, downplay Nintendo, the company, and its games, like all of that is going up in smoke. And like these allegations that Nintendo is going woke is just another attempt at keeping that narrative going.